Hello everyone, the Reading Bard here and welcome back to my channel. Today I am beginning a new fic titled 428 and Counting, written by B4Animin. This is an ongoing fic as of the time of this recording. There are 12 chapters. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Here's the summary. Izuku Midoriya, renowned gentleman, a true analyst, returns to Japan to teach at UA, due to him and Nezu agreeing that there needs to be a balance for All Might's incompetence as a teacher. Follow along as they learn to navigate life, as Aizawa learns a thing or two about his adoptive father, as Izuku becomes a grandpa of sorts to Hitoshi and Eri, and as the class takes their first steps towards heroics. Secrets get revealed, people die. But do not fret, dear reader, as at least we get a Deku. Oh, and did I mention that he has a super powerful and maybe hidden quirk nobody knows of? And that he's best buddies with the boogeyman of the underground? Well, follow along and learn where this takes us. Aizawa Shota was a man who prided himself on being selectively emotionally available. His husband? Shota loved him to no end, would commit murder if needed by him, no questions asked. His son? Shota adored him to no end, would commit murder if needed by him. Maybe one question asked, but still. Everyone else can go ahead and fuck off. Nemuri is a good friend, and Tensei was funny in his school days, but not close enough to deserve his unfiltered affection. The cuddles and soft kisses were reserved for Hisashi, and the head pats and life advice were reserved for Hitoshi, strictly nobody else. So when his phone rang in the middle of movie night, he was pissed off. As a hero, he was obligated to be available 24/7 by his agency in case of emergency, and the school only called when Nezu had a good enough reason to do so. After a loud groan and an eye roll, he folded the blanket off of himself and retracted his arm from around Zashi's shoulder. His other side was occupied by his son, who sat up straighter to allow his dad to stand up from the couch. Hisashi reached for the TV remote to pause the pre-quirk Marvel movie they were watching. Shota reached for the phone, and his irritation became more prominent when he saw the caller ID was blank, meaning that it was either a misdial or a telemarketer. He was tempted to just not pick up, but somehow he felt a pull and a sense of obligation to answer the call. So he did, and as soon as he slid the phone icon in the green zone, the caller spoke into the microphone on the other end. He realized who it was. Well, it's been a while since we last spoke, hasn't it, Shota? The airy laugh that followed warmed something in his heart, a rare smile stretching across his face, reminiscing the memories he had with this man. Yeah, it really has been. Why are you calling so late? Wait, what time is it in Nye Island? At the question, both Hisashi and Hitoshi perked up a bit. He never chatted so casually over the phone with anyone besides them, so they got curious. Shota covered the speaker with his hand and mouthed Izuku to his husband, who, based on the silent "oh" he made with his mouth, he got the message. Hitoshi was none the wiser, but seeing his pops relax made him even more interested. Dunno, maybe 4 in the morning? But since I'm back in Japan, I'm not too sure. The airport limbo is very strange, I have to say. Oh, and have you heard, David? Wait. We're back in Japan? The question sounded strange coming from his mouth. He could hear his own shock, and somehow even giddiness at the information. Like a child. How illogical. But at the same time, he hasn't seen this man in over 7 years. So it's kind of understandable. Yes, they call occasionally. The man sends some souvenirs and birthday presents. But an in-person meeting? He could still remember sending him off on that plane heading to Island all those years ago. He heard Hitoshi whisper something questioningly to Hisashi, but his thoughts were too centered around Izuku to care, so he'll have to ask about it later. When did you get back? Where are you staying? Are you going back? Wait, did you... The hearty laugh on the other end of the line made him stop his questioning, the rapid fire dying down as his hand came up to his face to try and shield the blushing cheeks from the other two in the room. He was unsuccessful. Hisashi found it very adorable, and Hitoshi grinned at the blackmail material he's getting. It's good to see you still care about your old man. I'm glad. But to answer your questions, I got back around 23 minutes ago, and I'm staying at whatever hotel, or the first hotel I see on Straight Ahead Street. Take my chances. Shota could feel the man smiling, in his own gentle way. The way he smiled at him so frequently in his childhood. The way he desperately wanted to see him smile again. He knew it was childish of him to want to still be so emotionally attached to his dad. But he just was. And he was not ashamed of it. The man single-handedly did more good for him than all of the other people in his life combined, not counting his own little family of 2. Just as he was about to offer his dad the option to come stay with them, he realized that he didn't exactly tell his dad that he was married and had a son, albeit adopted, but nonetheless, at first he was afraid that the man would be weirded out or disgusted by him being gay. But after a couple of years, he just forgot to tell him. Izuku left for Ai Island 8 years ago, when he was 22. Him and Hisashi got married at 24, and then adopted 10-year-old little Hitoshi just after they hit 25. Now being 30, Shota realizes that keeping it all a secret might have been a pinch over the top, but all the same, it was more of an in-person topic. Still the jokester, I see. Be safe out there. Fusatafu is not the best in that regard, but, well, UA is close and everything, so meet me tomorrow? Now you could see Hitoshi's jaw hit the floor. He could accept him talking casually on the phone with this mystery person, but his dad willingly and on his own accord suggested to meet somebody outside? The world is over and all hope is lost. Sure, I would love to see you. Is that Cat Cafe still in business? The one with the magnificent cinnamon buns? Shota let out a fond snort at the man's antics. You and your sweet tooth. Yes, they still exist. But they changed locations and are now on XXX Avenue, where the florist used to be. Ah, I remember where. Okay, then 9 AM? Tomorrow's a Saturday, so you should have a free day, right? If I remember correctly, school let out on June 27th? So you only have hero work for at least 2 more weeks, and you always have Saturdays and Tuesdays off for some reason. He did have Tuesdays off, because it was the only day his and Hisashi's schedules aligned, and they could spend the whole day together. And he had Saturdays off to be with Hitoshi, who had school during the weekdays, and because Hisashi had Sundays off for the same reason. Works for me. See you then. Bye, Dad. Good night, Sho. After ending the call and placing the phone on the counter again, both his husband and son erupted in questions, and other sounds of confusion. When did he come back? Dad? As in your father? Where is he staying? Who is this man, and why haven't I heard of him before? He could come over tomorrow. I could call in sick to the radio station. Shota let out a frustrated sigh, looking fondly at the two of them, holding up his palm, prompting them to stop talking so he can answer their questions. Once both Hisashi and Hitoshi sat back down on the couch, looking at him expectantly, he pulled his legs under himself on the carpet before the couch, sitting down on the material, thinking about exactly what to say. First of all, the man who called is my adoptive father, Yuzu Midoriya. He's the reason I'm here today, the way I am, and my guardian since I was 9. This was mainly for Hitoshi, since his husband already knew the man, having been over at their house quite a number of times, and also being taught by the man himself in UA. Suzuka was the one who saved me when my mother tried to kill me after a nasty breakup she had that was due to my villainous quirk. Hitoshi gasped, not having heard the story yet. He took me in after realizing that the foster system was not kind to people like me. He looked up to see his husband caressing Hitoshi's hand, trying to ease the bad memories. After all, Hitoshi himself had been adopted by them due to a particularly bad placement when he was 10 years old. Now, 5 years later, the nightmares have calmed, and he had more good days than not. But sometimes the drama still made it hard for him to accept love. When I told him I wanted to be a hero, he trained me, prepared me for the UA entrance exam. In the end, the robots made it impossible for me to use my quirk, but he told me to try during the sports festival. The endless support and encouragement helped me through it all, and when I won, he looked at me with so much pride and love in his eyes. I cried. He really did. It was adorable. Izuku was so confused, arms flailing in panic, because he thought he said something wrong. Hitoshi looked at his pops, looking at the fond and loving smile, a kind-hearted laugh lacing his voice, the soft look in his eyes, the way his dad, his cold-hearted dad, the same dad that was so supportive towards him, staring into nothingness in front of him, reliving the memory that shaped him to be the way he is. He became a teacher at UA in my first year, when I was 15, and held the position for 5 years, 2 years after I graduated. What did he teach? Hitoshi asked, a thing he allowed himself to do around the two, a sign of trust and relaxation. Shosha was proud of the boy. Before he got to answer, Hisashi took over. Well, all sorts of things really. He was our Foundation of Heroics teacher all throughout our schooling, but he was also the homeroom teacher to the year below us, and he taught the support course Coding 102 and Engineering 101, all while having Majima Power Loader as an intern, not to mention being an informant. He worked on cases with the police during his 5-year duration. Dang, and here I was thinking you guys were working a lot. This guy's insane. Both adults laughed at that, agreeing with the statement, but still finding it somehow funny. Throughout the years they studied under Izuku, he never really seemed overworked. He was always lively, smiling like sunshine, ready to help anybody who asked for it. He would set up study groups, lead circles interested in analysis, a hobby he has had for as long as Shosha could remember. He was the first one in, the last one out of the school, available all day, any day. And even then, he never neglected Shosha for work. He was always there for him, and he felt loved and cared for even when the other wasn't in close proximity. He made him bentos every morning, hugged him every night, and helped him with his homework, life, and everything in general. He had time to take him and sometimes his friends to places on weekends, spending the whole day with them, buying them food and little gifts, laughing, and never superficial. He was a good father, a wonderful teacher, and a better human than any adult he knew. Even after growing up, finishing school, starting hero work, his father had been a constant in his life, an unmovable pillar that helped him during difficult times. A pillar he could lean on if shit hits the fan. Somebody to turn to when he was not in a great headspace, especially after Oboro died. Okay, that's it for introductions. You'll meet him soon enough. When did he come back? Like an hour ago now? He called me first thing when the plane landed. He's searching for a hotel right now. The old apartment got sold a while back. There was a leakage problem. He could have stayed with us. We have an extra bedroom, you know. Shosha looked to the side in shame, earning a questioning eyebrow raise from his husband. Sho! The firm voice of Hisashi reminded him of why he never argued with the man. He was a weak man, always giving in to his husband. Well, I may or may not have forgotten to kind of tell. Well, you see, I wasn't sure if he'd... Sho! He doesn't know we're married. It was a very quiet confession. I kind of forgot to tell him. You what? Hisashi almost activated his quirk, but even after Shota erased it, the exclamation was still loud. How could you simply forget to tell your dad about being married? Does he know we have a kid? Who am I kidding? Probably not. Shota, this is serious. He comes back after 8 years and knows nothing about your life. Hisashi was now pacing back and forth on the carpet, having stood up some time into his rant. It started with not being sure if he'd accept me being, well, gay and all. but then I really just forgot to bring it up. I talked about you and what we do, like programs and such, but I never explicitly told him what our official relationship is. He was also now standing, bringing his husband into a loving embrace, his hand finding his way into Hisashi's hair, caressing it in a soothing motion. And I've told him about Toshi too. Maybe not our exact relationship, but I have told stories of him and you and us together. Hisashi looked up at him, staring into his soul with sharp eyes, still a little angry, but calmer. I'm meeting him. In fact, we're all meeting him tomorrow, together. And you will tell him, or so Nezu help me, I will. We arranged to meet up at 9 AM tomorrow at the Nohimo Cat Cafe. He could hear Toshi's quiet yes from the couch. I promise I will tell him. I'm coming with, and after revealing the location, do you think I can talk Toshi out of joining? No, he cannot, grinned Toshi, folding his arms over his chest in satisfaction. Shota huffed fondly. Didn't even dream of it. Hisashi called to his radio station, telling them that he will be away tomorrow because of a family emergency. They went to sleep, after deciding it was too late to finish the movie. Shota's mind swirling with scenario after scenario on how the talk would go. After a while, he willed his thoughts to stop, hugging his husband and promptly passing out. Tomorrow will be a long day. For all of them. And that was chapter 1 of 428 and Counting. I love this fic so much, and I can't wait to continue it. I adored the conversation between the 3 family members as they all processed the news that Izuku came back to Japan. It was very entertaining, and trying to do all the voices was very new to me, so I hope it sounded okay. That was very entertaining to do. Also, apologies for any mic inconsistencies throughout this video. My mic and my app have been kind of fighting each other today, so hopefully it gets better next time. Alrighty, thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. I shall see you next time. Feel free to like and sub. This has been the Reading Bird. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye!